Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sorting Hat Podcast, the show where everything and anything can and will be sorted. I, as always, am your host, Michael Barryte, joined by my co-host, Brice.
Carp diem!
Ooh, not even the proper pronunciation.
What?
Carpe diem.
Yes, he's the fish.
Yes, indeed. Basic conceit of the show is that we have a guest who is an expert or fan of a topic, and then we sort things within that topic into the various houses of Hogwarts. Today, we are joined by a returning guest, huge Harry Potter nerd, the wonderful and talented Brizzy Voices.
What's up?
Welcome back, Brizzy.
Thanks.
Last time Brizzy was on the show, we were dealing with Renaissance Disney films.
Yes, quite.
This time, we are sorting Harry Potter spells. This is probably going to be the most Harry Potter themed, Harry Potter-esque podcast that we have.
And therefore, even less than usual, which is usually already pretty bad, I'm going to have very little idea of what we're even talking about.
Right.
Especially if any of it's like important to the story of Harry Potter. Because if you're just tuning in, I have only watched like 1.5 of the movies. I've never read any of the books.
Also worth noting, as far as sorting bias goes, Reed is a Hufflepuff, and both Brizzy and I are Ravenclaws.
Okay,
so
good to know.
There's some steepage, but that's okay. With that all in mind, do you want to give us just like the briefest of breakdowns of just spells in the Harry Potter universe, Brizzy?
Well, for the most part, the spells we encounter in the books in the series are verbal, usually derived from Latin or just J.K. Rowling made it up. Sometimes there are nonverbal ones, but most of them are like, oh, insert Latin-ish word here.
Right.
And then magic happens with the wand and the thing happens.
Yeah, that's...
Some are malicious, some are nice, some are weird.
And we're going to be sorting a little bit of all. I've put together a list that Brizzy and I kicked back and forth for a little bit through email. These are some that we settled on. And the fun little thing that we're going to do is I'm going to read the incantation said of the spell. Reed, you're going to try to guess what the spell does.
Come on.
And then Brizzy will give us what the spell actually does, and then we'll sort it.
Okay.
Something that, as we set this up now, I'm already realizing is probably going to make this thing run long. That said, Wingardium Leviosa.
So I hear wind and levitate. Is this when you like make something fly?
I will accept that answer.
Oh,
ding, ding, ding.
yeah.
And also, I set you up for something because I might have mispronounced it.
Oh, well, it's not Levi. Well, you didn't say it in the way that would be right to correct.
I just want, I failed in that regard. I wanted you to give it's Leviosa.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Yeah, I goofed on that.
Does somebody's aunt?
Complicated.
It's in the movie Hermione has that bit.
Yeah, because she's the nerd. Okay, I get it. All right, you guys are nerds. I get it.
Yes. So this is a levitation spell.
Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah. And then I freaking nailed it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I'm gonna get all these right, and then that's when y'all gonna realize I actually am a wizard, and I've been like doing the hard sell of pretending I don't know anything about this universe.
Yeah, just blending in.
Is there any other fun factoids about it, or should we just go straight into sorting it?
I mean, I feel like it's one of the first spells we get really introduced to. That's the first spell we see in a class, to my knowledge.
So this is like a beginner
learning.
spell.
Yeah, you learn the motion, which is swish and flick.
That seems like too much responsibility to be. Can you only do it to small things, or like
no?
Could you?
It's all the small things.
So a child at the end, a child of like 10, like they're like 10 at the beginning of the series, right?
Yes.
Could levitate anything.
They start out with a feather.
Mm-hmm.
And is it kind of like with weightlifting where you have trouble lifting things?
I think so.
Like, okay, that at least makes sense, because I don't like the idea that a child could walk outside and if they are disrespected, could just like levitate your car or something.
I think it's similar to, if we're crossing universes, similar to the Force, the way that like the strength of the wizard or the strength of the Jedi like dictates the strength of what they can manipulate.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why like in Empire Strikes Back, like Yoda, tiny, like him lifting up a X-Wing, you're like, oh, damn. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's
this
that sort of
and
thing.
Pokemon both give me weird like pause about like the responsibilities that children are just like allowed to have.
We'll get there. Yeah.
Okay, so levitation.
Mm-hmm.
And you could certainly combine powers. Multiple people could work together to lift one huge thing.
Oh, okay. So like, depending on what it is, you might not be able to do it yourself, no matter what.
Presumably, unless you're crazy, super powerful. I don't know.
Wow. Okay. So like, if your friend, if you're like helping your friend move, and like you guys get to the couch or whatever, you might both like do it together.
I think it's like physically lifting something similar.
There's some exertion that's expounded.
Do you know if you physically like? Do you like feel it before or after you do it, or is it just kind of like?
I doubt it, but maybe.
Okay.
We don't really see that in the movies, nor do I feel that the text suggests that.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows?
Okay.
With that said, I kind of feel that it's a Hufflepuff.
Why is that?
I feel like, especially coming from that, it's like an introductory spell. I think that there's like a softness to it.
Mm-hmm. Who teaches it to you? And what house? Do you know what house they're in?
Professor Flitwick, who is head of Ravenclaw House.
Okay, cool.
Which Ravenclaw is the other direction that I was headed, just from like the practicality standpoint. The like, this is a basic building block that will be used like to do so many other things.
Yeah, I was definitely going Ravenclaw because it is very practical, precise, and just the fact that it's airy, and the word and wing and airy and air is very much Ravenclaw's element, I believe, and feathers, eagles.
Oh yeah, there we go.
For this spell, also, if you do know. Are the mechanics of it that like literally a gust of wind is carrying something, or is it like affecting the gravity of the object?
I think it would be the gravity of the object.
Okay. Gotcha.
Or as if something is pulling it up. So I guess that would be gravity.
Oh, okay.
An invisible hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. Alohomora.
What?
Did I mispronounce that? Alohomora?
That's when
Alohomora. There we go. I'm going to mispronounce all of these guys.
That's when you want to just like have a little bit more of something. Alohomora. Like you're just saying it like really lazy. Like, that slice is good. That slice of pizza is good, but I could use Alohomora. And then it like, and then it's like a little bit bigger, but like 15%.
So you're saying like it's a growth spell.
Yeah, like give me more. How did I got it?
Or duplication? No, nothing like that.
Oh. No, I just meant like you get a little bit more of it.
No, you're very far off.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
It unlocks a locked lock.
Okay.
Yes.
Which brings up a lot of questions, in the universe. But
So
basically
like
any lock that is not specifically magically locked so that it cannot be unlocked with Alohomora can be unlocked with Alohomora.
Oh, okay.
Which really just makes you inquire. I mean, there are so many things within the Harry Potter wizarding world that you're like, oh, you've created situations where like, why would you ever use regular locks then in the wizarding universe?
It's just a symbol, I guess.
Yeah, like.
Oh, so like there are like regular muggle locks and that they just exist. And you're like, why would you have that? And also you're teaching this to children, right?
Presumably, yeah.
Standard Book of Spells, Chapter 7, yeah.
That's weird. I don't like that. I don't like, because like, can you imagine if like, if like your little nephew or something was like, yeah, I just like taught myself locksmithing and lock picking.
It's just very weird because it automatically puts wizards on like a higher level than muggles, like 100%, because no safe is unbreakable to a wizard in that sense unless it has some magic around it. This one seems mischievous as all heck to me.
Yeah.
So where do we feel that might?
Because you're definitely, because a lock like signifies that somebody has established a boundary, and then you're just saying like, nah, I'm doing whatever I want. So I think this is a Slytherin.
Yeah. It's a Slytherin or a Gryffindor for sure.
Yeah.
Just like a disregard for rules.
There's just not, I can't imagine a very noble reason to be breaking into somebody else's thing.
Oftentimes, at least in Harry Potter, they're doing it to like do research or like help save the school. They're like, we need to go here. There's a locked door. Good thing we can get in there to save the
but they're
school.
still doing it against the authority of some kind, even if that authority is unjust.
Sure.
Yeah,
they
I mean, they
breaking
weren't
the rules.
supposed to be in there.
All right, now my Latin teaching is sending me in two different directions, but I believe that this one's pronounced Accio.
Accio
It's
is
Accio?
what it is meant to be. I always read it as Axio.
So, yeah, because in Latin, I believe C's are meant to be pronounced hard, never soft. So I'm
right.
like,
Oh, I think
I'm
you're
just
both mispronouncing this because I think I heard this on John Lovitz' The Critic, and he goes, Acum.
What do you think?
Accio.
Accio. That's the first one. And so I think it's usually like, if you just want to make something like a kind of less appealing, it's like the opposite of a charm spell. It's like a disenchant spell.
What is it, Brizzy?
It's a summoning spell.
Oh, yeah, opposite.
So if something's on the other side of the room and you want it, you'll be like, Accio remote control. Zoop.
So the
Oh.
exact inverse. You're looking. You were saying repulsion, but this is attraction.
Well, you know what? I don't know Latin.
Mhm.
Well, and do you guys know? And like, so it makes sense in the Harry Potter universe in England that they would be using Latin derivatives because Church of England is a derivative of the Roman Catholic Church, and that's where they would have gotten those Latin roots for things. And where, like, I imagine, like, just culturally, that's where it would be living.
Sure.
In other countries, would they have, like, do you know, like, is magic like a universal language, like mathematics, or do you have like region specific spells? Would like
In the
like
Harry Potter universe?
Yeah, like would a wizard who is from like China be saying something in Mandarin, or would they be saying something in Latin?
I think there's probably a bunch of overlap, but also just different spells. They could probably say a different thing to do the same thing because you can invent your own spell.
Yeah.
So I imagine it would develop in a similar way
Yeah,
of language.
we've also gotten a very narrow glimpse at the wizarding world
'Cause we've only
through
been to,
J.K.
like,
Rowling's Western
rolling.
view.
I have to say rolling as in bowling.
Oh, J.K. Rowling?
Yeah.
Is it like, because it's just like we only know really what happens in Europe and in North America at this point,
Yep.
right? Okay.
Mhm.
Basically. And thankfully we're getting more. We're
I
getting
am
more out of
still
Fantastic Beasts.
of the opinion that Fantastic Beasts should be like Indiana Jones, and it should just be Newt Scamander going to different parts of the world to find Fantastic Beasts, and then we see what that different like wizarding world community is. Because China would be fucking incredible. China and Japan, because like in Japan, their whole thing is like dragons are associated with water. So like imagine fucking water dragons. I think that would be so cool. Anyway,
Our theory is that it is going to touch around different areas based on the schools that she has told us exist. She has told us about schools that exist in Brazil, Africa, Japan, France. Obviously, we already knew Eastern Europe, and then Hogwarts. What else? That might be it.
well, in all cases, excited for it. Apparate.
Wait, did we sort it?
Oh yeah, we didn't sort
Wow,
Accio.
What's this
Your
podcast for?
segues are so aggressive today.
Look, we've got
gotta
a
move
long
along.
list. But okay, Accio.
So like something like you're bringing it in, that like denotes like some sort of like feel of like domination. It's very much like I'm in control of this.
Mhm.
But I guess all spells kind of are.
Yeah,
I
all
I don't know what
spells
point
are.
I was making with that.
Well, I sort of see it as it could be used as sort of the lazy man's reach. Like
Yeah.
it's the equivalency of one of those like grabber arms that you're like, I can't get the remote. Like I'm just gonna do it with one of those things.
Mhm.
So there's the part of me that's feeling like it's a Hufflepuff, just because Hufflepuff is like a comfort spell, or like more inclined to lean towards
That would
comfort.
be, you know what? That makes me mad at wizards.
Mm.
Because
Just
I
makes me
imagine
envious.
okay, so like the Muggle world is exactly like our world, right?
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, they could solve so many problems like by just telling Muggles magic exists and like being humanitarians about it.
Oh yeah, no.
Like I just imagine somebody with mobility problems
Yeah, it's complex.
like could have had every problem in the world solved. Like I imagine they can probably fix world hunger with like the sweep of a wand. Why do these wizards decide not to do these things?
It's a weird thing, and like the interesting part about this, and now we're also going back to Fantastic Beasts a little bit, is they created this sort of like Malcolm X, MLK parallels between like Dumbledore and Grindelwald, except
which is already problematic.
Except in the fact like it's not. Even then, it's like going further because Malcolm X was like we're going to be exclusionary, but also like in Grindelwald's case is combative. Like more so.
I think that the term that like it would have like the connotation like maybe anti-assimilationist, like we don't need to be part of white culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that, but also at the same time saying, and we're going to oppress all the muggles and like theoretically kill them all because we're the superior like group of people. Right?
But
that's
then,
Grindelwald's whole sort of thing.
But
it's for the greater good. Like these muggles don't have what we have, so we are basically entitled to control them.
Or similar to Magneto, like Magneto's
better.
sort of stance with mutants and and like Xavier, Charles Xavier.
I'm gonna say I think that makes the whole universe of Harry Potter a Slytherin.
but maybe also like Grindelwald, he did want to expose wizard kind to the Muggles.
Yeah,
to my understanding, but for the greater good was kind of his whole shtick. So like he wanted to use magic to, in theory, help them with those problems that they're having that magic could fix. But he also wants to be in control of it.
Yeah. Gotcha. It was. Has there ever been a point in time that Muggles knew about magic and like they just have been like enchanted to not know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh boy.
It's complicated.
Yeah, there are Muggles who are like ambassadors to the wizarding world. And
like the Prime Minister knows
yeah.
and stuff like that. I do wonder. It's a very confusing, blurry line for who knows and who doesn't.
So did we sort Accio? We didn't.
I would say Slytherin.
Okay.
Because you get what you want.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't think Slytherin has to be malicious. It's just you get what you want.
It's very direct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Apparate. There we go.
Apparate. That sounds like apparition, a spirit. So I'm gonna say it's probably about like bringing up like some sort of hologram of somebody or some like it's like a fake thing that like if you like touched it, your fingers would go through it. But it seems animated.
Yeah,
you were right. It does sound like apparition because that's what you are. It is apparition is the word, but it is teleporting basically.
Oh, I was way off.
I mean, you got the idea of like manifesting something, but it also involved transference and tangibility. So
and you know what?
You got a third of it.
I think that's unfair. If it sounds like the word for ghost, it should just be ghost. Or in this case, I specifically thought of that hologram of Tupac at Coachella like years ago. I was like, that's an apparate right there.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So, okay, this is teleportation. Now, this is like Star Trek teleportation. Like, do you have to just like, you just like are there 1 minute and then you just go boop, 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 boop? Or
you just disappear and you appear somewhere else.
And you're not like cognizant of like moving at all.
There's a little bit of like a whooshy whoosh that you have to go through.
Okay.
And it's very uncomfortable.
Oh.
For the most part, at least when you're first doing it for the first time.
Oh,
you're not used to it.
Does it like physically hurt you?
I think it could make you dizzy. And there is potential to get hurt if you do it wrong.
Oftentimes people come out of apparating sort of thrown. Like their physics do carry. So if you're like jumping when you apparate, like you will continue to jump into wherever you're apparating to.
It's possible to splinch, which means part of your body is apparated and part of it has not.
No, what? That's horrifying. I would never do it. I would be like, I'll see you guys there. I'm getting a lift. I'll see you there.
Yeah, teleporting has always been like that's the superpower that if I could have without like any knowledge, it's like the most pragmatically great. Because I could just be like, oh, do you want to spend this afternoon at like somewhere in India? Bam, I'm like, I'm enjoying this market in India. I had the best Indian food I've ever eaten. And now I just teleport back home and I'm in bed. Hotels gone.
How do you know exactly where you're going to be? Do you have to be able to visualize the exact spot of where you're supposed to be?
I think so.
What if you've never been there before?
I don't know. A lot is very up in the air. I know there are limits geographically. You can't go on the other side of the world. I think it becomes more risky the further you go.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, and I'm sorry if I'm asking you to like explain things within parameters of what we would think of as science and like muggle stuff.
The internal logic of a lot of these things is like
don't think about it.
Pretty fractured, and like the more you think about it, the more you're like, wait, but doesn't that then mean that?
Right.
I know. I have so many questions.
I think that this is a Ravenclaw.
Oh, I think it's Gryffindor.
Oh,
because it's dangerous.
Like you gotta be pretty brave.
Yeah.
She just said you could potentially be cleaved in half, and you don't live from that, do you?
No.
Unless like there's some specific
depending
spell.
on what's cleaved.
Right.
If it's like your foot, like
the only thing we've seen, I think that we've seen be splinched is an ear. Like he comes to the other side and part of his ear is chopped off.
Was that Vincent Van Gogh? Did they have Van Gogh in there? And he's like, I'm secretly a painting wizard.
Oh, by the by, if you guys get a chance to see Living Vincent or Loving Vincent, sorry, Loving
Vincent.
Vincent.
The one where all the artists like painted it like in the style of his paintings?
It's rotoscoped oil painting film. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And like all the wide shots are straight up just like, oh, that could be a Van Gogh painting.
Gotcha.
Okay, based on what you were saying with Apparate, I recognize why it could be a Gryffindor.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking just purely from a practicality standpoint,
yes,
but not from the danger standpoint. Lumos.
Oh, that's straight up a flashlight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a flashlight.
Hell yeah.
You turn your wand on, you turn your wand off. The tip of it just is like,
it's either that
it
or
ET
it's
fingers.
like a loom like you would use to weave tapestries, and that sounds like something children don't care about.
You had it correct. And loom, that sort of tool, I do not believe comes from a Latin origin. So.
Well, okay. Yes, you are a Ravenclaw. All right, Brizzy. Is there anything else you need to know? Like, okay, so the tip of your wand lights up.
Yeah.
And that's it?
Yeah.
That's very practical. I would put that. That's either going to be a Hufflepuff or a Ravenclaw, in my opinion.
I agree.
And I would probably like lean towards Hufflepuff just because I imagine someone be like, I'm not going in there because I'm scared.
Right. I'm afraid of the dark. Lumos, I'm less scared.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Great. Stupefy.
I want to say Ravenclaw, though.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it's more like, you need light to shed light on a situation and take in all the information of what's around you. And it's very practical.
Yeah.
It's very like bread and butter sort of spell.
That's valid argumentation. Stupefy.
That's when you want to make somebody confused, and so you just like blibbity blip stupefy for a second. You're not gonna know what's going on. Kind of like in it's like the Pokemon move, and like you can make them hit themselves. So it's like J.K. Rowling stole this from Pokemon.
Mankey is confused. It hurt itself in its confusion.
In what sort of situation would you use it?
Like if you have a guard that you need, you're like gotta keep these guards busy for a second, or. If you just want to humiliate somebody. And these characters become teenagers during the books, right?
Yes.
Some people are using spells in a petty way immediately. As soon as puberty hit, they were like, oh, I'm bored with you, stupefy.
Okay, that does exist. I would call that more of a confundus charm.
Oh, okay.
Stupefy is a little more combative. It's a little more just shutting someone out. Like someone becomes useless. Maybe it knocks them out. Something like that.
Oh, so this is just like to just in a general, just like disengage them.
Yeah.
And do they become do they black out when this happens?
I think so, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, they don't ever describe exactly what happens, but they're incapacitated to some degree.
They're definitely incapacitated.
How old are you when you're allowed to learn this?
I don't know. Defense Against the Dark Arts, I'm assuming it comes up pretty quick because it's not dangerous.
Oh, okay.
Unless, someone's on the edge of a cliff. But.
Yeah. Although imagine if this might be a first year spell, but imagine in a real world setting where it's just like, hey kids, we're gonna learn how you can punch someone and just knock them unconscious real fast.
Yeah. No, that's why. So is there also a way to block this spell? If Because imagine like a child just being like, I'm going to like you said, like essentially punch you.
Yeah, there isn't just like a catch-all counter spell, is there?
Just like no.
Yeah.
What?
I would say Protego, but that's like a shield.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it sends the spell back at the person or not.
Mm-hmm.
But it deflects whatever's coming at you.
Gotcha. Okay. Just curious.
So like a Slytherin, it's a very like aggressive move even if it's like not like gonna like physically damage you.
Yeah, it's either a Gryffindor or a Slytherin.
Yeah.
I want to say Ravenclaw.
Why do you want to say Ravenclaw?
Because I mean, maybe I shouldn't because I say Ravenclaw a lot, but just it seems very practical to me, where it just puts a stop to things so you can move on, and it's non-violent. It's just like, no, not that right now. We're doing something else.
I don't know. I just feel like it's Slytherin to me because it's the idea of being like, I'm taking away a living organism's agency for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little more aggressive than I granted, Ravenclaws can be combative. They aren't nearly as passive as, say, Hufflepuffs.
That's fair.
But Ravenclaws can be hard-headed. It's an interesting argument. I do feel that Slytherins or Gryffindors are more likely to use it. Now I'm shifting to like who's going to be using the spell.
We did mostly see Gryffindors using it because we
but
mostly followed Gryffindors in the story.
Yeah.
But we definitely, to my knowledge, did not see Death Eaters using it.
Mm-hmm.
They would use the more malicious, dangerous spells,
Sure.
whereas Harry's like fighting them off with Stupefy.
Well, the Death Eaters, like that was like the gang of like evil wizards, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's Voldemort's crew.
Especially if this is like a beginner's spell too, though they're probably not, because these are all supposed to be like the best of the best in like Voldemort's opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're probably using advanced spells anyway. Okay, no, I can see that as it being like an used defensively instead of offensively.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that being a Ravenclaw move. Okay.
Yeah, Ravenclaw or Gryffindor now.
All right,
for
I'm gonna
me.
get this next one. What's the next one, Michael?
Next one is Reparo. I bet you can't in a million years guess what this one does.
It repairs things, but specifically clothing.
You should have just stopped before you said specifically.
So this is like put something together that's been broken, or just like,
Yep.
Okay, and does it say something gets burned up?
Right.
Could it take the embers and like unburn it?
That might be past the point of repair, but maybe.
Right.
I don't know.
I think it's basically if something has broken, just like, because it's Harry Potter's glasses, I believe, break at some point.
Yeah, I think if it's like, if you could put a puzzle together and then like get rid of the seams.
Gotcha.
Like you could stick it back together and.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I just realized this. At some point in one of the books, Ron's wand breaks.
Right.
And they don't use Reparo.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work
unless you have the Elder Wand. You can't just fix
Repair.
a wand with another wand.
Oh, are wands like sourdough bread where you have to have like the starting, like the mother germ of magic to inject it into the other ones?
I guess.
Because sourdough bread, you have to have a starting. You have like a mother dough that you like pass down.
This is something about sourdough bread that I did not know.
Yeah.
Likewise.
So wands are like sourdough bread. Got it.
In France, they do call wands baguettes.
I'm telling you, and they're probably sourdough. They call wands baguettes and
baguettes magiques.
Like in regular people, like French magicians in our world call their wands baguettes. Or in Harry Potter
in
universe,
French, you call it a baguette.
That's amazing.
And the books call it baguette the whole way through.
That's odd, but I'll take it. All right.
Why are there no non-magical wands? Why don't we ever have wands just for like pointing?
I mean,
at
we
things?
do. If you go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in either Orlando or Hollywood,
I mean, outside of the context, because that's contextually like laid in. Like, oh, you're a fan of this. I'm saying fashion-wise. Why have wands always been associated only with magical people? You would imagine like you'd want to have something.
I think
to, like,
in presentations, sometimes people have little sticks, right, to point at things.
But do we call them wands? Is my point.
Oh, you just want. If we reterm things, Reed, will you be contented?
We don't have to reterm it. I just think we should like people should start carrying wands. It should be like how we had fads with like, remember when people used to use canes, but they had no trouble walking?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, like a fashion wand.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
I live that way.
Thank you.
Where are we thinking Reparo is?
I say Ravenclaw. I
Yeah.
swear I'm gonna stop saying Ravenclaw.
No,
eventually.
you said Gryffindor like a
Okay,
few
great.
back. You're fine.
Yeah, I think that's Ravenclaw.
Great.
You're basically
Right.
reversing time. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
pretty intense.
Expecto Patronum.
That is okay. Patronum sounds like tequila, like that one brand, like
Patron?
Yeah, it sounds like Patron.
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine it doesn't intoxicate people because that would be creepy if they could have
Correct.
the ability to do that. Expecto sounds like expect.
Mm-hmm.
You're not wrong.
Yep, I'm killing it. Oh, I know what this is. Because I know the Patronus thing is when you like you can I forget what Patronuses are though. It's like you can just like summon an animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know? You don't have any idea what the Patronus would do?
I
for
just
you?
know it's like I know that they're that Pottermore because I
Mhm.
I know what the Pottermore website. Like I know a while ago you could like get your own Patronus.
Yes.
And they gave me a freaking barn owl.
Yeah.
Which in that universe, you can already just own an owl. So like, and owls in Harry Potter universe are just for delivering the mail. So I got a mailman as my animal.
Yeah, we took the Patronus test the same time. You got the barn owl, and I got a white rabbit.
Yeah, you got a rabbit,
my God.
which is really fun.
I love it.
Is it kind of like a sidekick that you can have, like in
It's a guardian.
a guardian?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in the case of Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry,
Who's that?
the Prisoner of Azkaban, that's Sirius Black in the books and films.
Oh, okay.
He is the prisoner. But Dementors are introduced. They're the guards of Azkaban who can suck your soul out of your body and then you die forever.
Ooh.
But Patronuses are used and produced to like keep them away.
Yes, and they're fed off of your happy memories. If you don't, you have to think of a happy memory, really happy memory to produce one. So it's kind of like your joy is protecting you from this manifestation of
Evil.
depression.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So like if you've had a tough life, it's harder for you to
Yes.
use it.
Yes. Like
Oh,
there's a
no.
character whose brother dies and then he is no longer able to produce one.
And Harry Potter is like an abused orphan.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
does he have? I imagine he probably has trouble getting his going.
He figures it out much younger than most people are able to.
Well,
Mhm.
there you go.
Yeah.
Good job, Harry.
Because he's the boy who lived.
Yeah.
I want to say that this is a Hufflepuff. It's very like based in emotion, and it has to do with like your connection to nature.
I see your logic there. I'd argue it could also be a Gryffindor for similar reasons of like protection and
Yeah.
bravery but and like Gryffindors are emotional.
Yeah.
So it's really like an either or. Where are you landing on the
Yeah. I was very I didn't have a real answer. I think in this moment though I want to say Hufflepuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's like a manifestation of joy, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Mhm.
much more Hufflepuff than
Completely
anything else.
valid. I'm just playing devil's advocate on
Yeah.
like, oh, it could be.
I see
Because
Gryffindor
like
though.
if it was based off like how many cojones you have, to be very gendered about it, if it was just based on how brave you are, then I would say that would be Gryffindor. But yeah, like I agree with you. Just based on like, oh, like how easily can you bring up like a fuzzy warm marshmallow sort of memory? That's Hufflepuff as heck. All right, what do we got?
Expelliarmus.
Expelliarmus.
Expelliarmus?
Spell
Expelliarmus.
You can't say it. I'm not even gonna try. But I think that's gonna be like when you're trying to like push some like you push something. Like you can like push back or like make it move away from you.
Close, right idea. It is disarming someone.
Mhm.
Oh,
Like their wand flies out of their hand.
is this like what the cops use in this world?
I mean, yeah.
Well,
Wow.
it's interesting because the spelling is expel, an extra L and an I, and then armus. So it's like expel arms.
Right.
Oh, I getcha. And it's literally just to take somebody's wand away, or can you do it with
Mhm.
other? Could you do it with like a gun?
I don't know.
not only does it disarm, but it brings the wand
Yeah,
to the
usually
person.
you get the wand.
Whoa.
But I don't think necessarily always, but I don't know. Might just be the movies infecting my brain.
Yeah, maybe it's a situation where you disarm and then Accio wand.
Yeah,
Which really you could just straight up say Accio other person's wand to disarm.
Well,
Right?
that doesn't have the same.
Maybe, I don't know.
that
Maybe
doesn't
you
have,
have to
like,
get
the-
through the
yeah.
magic first
Sure.
with Expelliarmus. You gotta.
That doesn't have the same like snap to it of like I disarmed this man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like the simple just I disarmed this man.
Yeah.
And you just strike a pose and suddenly the gun flies out of their hand.
Yeah.
Like, ah.
There's also an interesting factoid about Expelliarmus that might influence our sorting is the fact that if you Expelliarmus someone's wand, it kind of becomes your wand then. It becomes
Whoa.
more loyal to you than
You can
them.
use it?
Yeah, so the whole thing there is around the Elder Wand, right?
Yeah.
So should we explain the Elder Wand to Reed?
Just that the Elder Wand is the most powerful wand in existence. If you're in a duel with the Elder Wand and you have equal skills, basically, if one spell goes up against the other, the Elder Wand will win, no matter what.
Does that so is Elder Wand an actual item or does it just
It's
is it
one wand.
It okay.
It's
not,
a real thing.
It's not used to describe like
No.
oh between the two of us I have the Elder Wand.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It's one physical
This is like in
wand.
Final Fantasy when you find the Elder Wand.
Yeah.
Who owns it?
It's complicated. It gets passed around, passed down through the centuries. People kill each other. It's called like the Blood of Death or the Bloody Wand or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because so much death follows it because people want it. That they just kill the owners while they're
Oh.
sleeping and stuff.
So that's really wild and like also ties into again of my idea of like what is the rest of how does this affect the rest of the world, not only of wizarding but like just the world at large, like knowing that there's like a way overpowered wand around. And you said that the Elder Wand also like creates all the other wands or like makes it
No,
so they,
it's just the Elder Wand is the only one that has the ability to fix a broken wand.
I see. And is it like said to be like the first wand? Is that why it's called
No.
that?
No, it's said to be created by death.
Whoa.
Death gifted it to someone.
Yeah, that gets
And
into the
death is a
whole
person
Deathly
in this?
Hallows
It's a big like legend within the world.
that
Oh,
we
and
don't
Some
learn
people
about
believe
until
in
book
it, some
7.
people don't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would probably put this is like another one that's like more like aggressive
Mhm.
re- rather than passive. So that at least like eliminates Hufflepuffs in my opinion.
Mhm.
I think it would depend like primarily what it's used for. Like do you see it more in law enforcement and like regulation or do you see it more in like people fighting each other?
I don't know.
Okay. So a lot of this is hard to know.
It's similar to Stupefy in that Harry's side was always using Expelliarmus while the Death Eaters were shooting like dangerous spells at them.
Yeah.
Like Harry was up against Voldemort, and he just used Expelliarmus.
And did he do it? Did he take Voldemort's wand away?
Yeah, I mean
Whoa.
he killed him when the
Whoa.
spells combined. It kind of went back upon Voldemort, and he died
Okay, gotcha.
because Harry had the wand Voldemort was using was loyal to Harry.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, there's some weird.
I don't know. What do you think, Michael?
I mean, I think that it's a Gryffindor.
Oh,
How come?
I think that it's again like one of those more defensive moves that is like I'm fighting to protect other people, so I'm just trying to get the gun, the wand, the whatever out of the situation, and then we can address this like let's clear the room sort of thing.
Gotcha.
I would accept that. I also kind of want to say Slytherin just because it's stealing their only
Yeah,
weapon or defense, but
it's a crafty move.
yeah, I would accept either. I
think,
kind of
yeah.
want to give Gryffindor more spells because I feel like Slytherin's going to get more in the long run. So
All right.
Oh.
I'm moving on to this goofy one. Slugulus eructo. Slugulus eructo.
What? That sounds profane. Okay. Slugulus. So that sounds like the word slug. So I'm guessing like it's. But then erect is build. So you build.
Eructo.
Er-
Eructo.
How do you spell that?
Eructo.
Eructo. That is when you make slime explode all over something.
You're
like
not
Nickelodeon.
You're not terribly far off.
Oh, what is it?
It causes the person you hit to vomit slugs.
This is stupid.
Yeah, don't worry. We got a few more stupid ones.
Wait. In this universe, you could not only make someone vomit, but like specifically, you make them vomit slugs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do people invent new spells? How does this stuff work? Do you have and then can there potentially be somebody who has like their own like only I know how to do this spell until, or is it like a song where like once you learn it you know it also?
I think you could create your own spell and then no one else knows it unless you tell them what it is. But I think
wild.
once you know what it is and how it works and what the movement or whatever you need to do is to do it, then you can do it.
That makes me feel like I was thinking, I don't know why I associated it closer to like feeling like mathematics, but I feel like magic sounds more like music theory and stuff like that. You could, but like anyone could potentially like learn music on their own. But like the reason why you would go to school is because like there are like theory
Because you
things
want
that
to
like help you along.
compose and everything.
Or just because like you can learn these structures and it makes
Mhm.
it easier then to create your own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And also that you're learning like pieces from the masters, which is what all of these established spells would be.
Right.
Okay, cool. So Harry Potter's like fame.
Hogwarts is just fame school.
Gonna remember my name. I'm gonna live forever.
Said Voldemort.
Yeah.
That's a Slytherin one.
I'm gonna learn how to
That's
fly on a
mean. Making
hippogriff.
somebody puke bugs. And like, are there other like puking spells that are just different?
Not that we've seen, but probably.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I'm sure just eructo, like something
Yeah.
eructo, like
Mm-hmm.
is just a really simple, like, all right, you're gonna vomit this, or maybe it's the Eulus eructo part of that.
I would make
Right.
that spell illegal if I were the mayor of wizards.
For context, Ron uses it against Malfoy when they're 12.
Yeah.
But because Ron's wand is broken, it bounces back on him. So he's
What
the
a
one who
nerd.
does it.
Yeah. Ron is the Hufflepuff of the Gryffindors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Neville?
Nah, Neville cleans up. All right, let's go to did we sort?
I think we said Slytherin.
Okay. Portus.
Portus.
I think that's like just like creating a porthole or like some sort of like window for you to see into some like either through a space or like a portal to a different place.
I'll accept that.
Yeah, the first half not so much. The second half, or one half of that was right.
Okay.
Not creating like a window to see through, but like literally creating a portal.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can like move through this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
It's
basically
like an alternative to apparating.
Right.
that is
okay.
probably safer, right?
Probably.
And in this case, it's actually imbuing an item and making it so like if you touch this item, it transports you someplace.
Oh, okay. So it's not like the video game portal where
No.
you can
No.
like you're like there's a hole that I can now walk through
Yeah.
this new.
Right.
It's more
Okay.
like a secret item.
Oh, if a muggle touches one, will they be transported?
I think so.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's also worth noting now that thinking back to Fantastic Beasts, don't they apparate with what's his name, the muggle?
Yeah, I think so.
They really could have killed him, like beyond all the times that they like really could have killed him.
Side-along apparition is not as dangerous as like the person doing it.
Oh,
You
okay.
hold-
Like
have to
he
hold
doesn't have
them?
to be good at it as long as
Mhm.
the person doing it is good at it.
All right.
It's like driving a car.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
But it's driving a car where even if you're in the passenger seat, like you won't die.
Right.
Like you
No, you could, I think, if they completely screwed up, but usually when you're adult, you've got the hang of it.
Yeah, one would hope. Okay. So, yeah, this is creating a portal.
They should have to have insurance for these things. Like you should have like if you're doing these, you should have to register it with like the ministry and you should have to like check in. Like can you imagine like God forbid you get old and you have like problems like remembering things, or you like. Are there any wizards who've gone senile?
Yeah, a
Like,
handful.
do magic people have the same like mental ailments that we do sometimes, or like
I think they
with our
can.
brains?
And there are some spells that create them.
Yeah.
I would be really nervous about my grandma having the ability to do this, because I feel like she would like enchant some item and then forget that she did it, and then like let somebody touch it.
Right.
She'd be like, "Oh yeah, go ahead and use that glass to get some water," and then like send them to the middle of the ocean somehow. Because she would program it wrong too, because she can't even use a VCR. I'm really stressed out about the idea of my grandma being a wizard now. I really hope it doesn't happen.
So what does that tell you about sorting Portis?
It's probably Gryffindor, because it's another one where it's like you're putting a lot of faith into the spell itself to use it.
I think this is more of a Ravenclaw than Barryte is, though.
I guess so, because there's like it's like more low key.
It's more low key. It's able to very clearly being like, hey, I've defined that this thing will get you from point A to point B. Also, we don't run the risk of having people get severed, correct, Brizzy?
Right, to my knowledge.
So that seems like a safer alternative.
Is there like a safety lock mechanism you can put on the item?
I don't know.
I mean, probably just putting it in a box.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can make it so that at a certain time it happens.
Oh, you can
program
program
it? Or it can be
it?
in any time. I think so.
That's wild.
Because like when they went to the Quidditch World Cup, it was a certain time, right? They had to touch the boot.
Yeah, I think so. It was expiring or some nonsense like
maybe
that.
that was it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
I thought you could set an alarm on it.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But in any and all cases, we're moving on to Obliviate.
That's when you just straight up blow something up. That's the magic version of dynamite.
In some ways, you're not wrong, but it's for a singular person.
It's a memory charm. Remove their memories.
Oh, like
or screw with their memories.
Oh, so you can potentially
make them
just
forget.
Like, you just make them forget. You wouldn't like be able to like modify the memory.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe there's an advanced version.
Well, it said, because I did start looking into some of this, that because there's a way to read minds in Harry Potter, and they said that Snape was able to alter his memories, so when they were reading his mind, they weren't getting the correct memories.
What?
Are you talking about Snape? For who was reading his mind?
I think it was like when the ministry was saying like we can have people do mind reading sort of stuff, and
he was like, not if I destroy it.
Ligamancy,
legilimens and occlumency.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Like,
this is me speaking like a little bit out of the
because I'm also thinking about Slughorn, who alters his memory when he puts in the pensieve.
Oh, that's right. It was Slughorn.
This
Sorry,
is like giving yourself a lobotomy. Like this is the ability like to lobotomize somebody. That's dangerous.
Well, in the case of spoilers for book 7,
sorry, earlier.
Hermione straight up, because she goes on the run, she obliviates herself from her parents.
She forgets her own parents, or her
No.
parents?
She makes her parents forget that she ever existed.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, sets him up with a new life.
All right, so is this?
But she goes back and fixes it after everything's over.
Oh, so you can undo it.
In theory, apparently.
Okay, so this isn't like permanent brain damage that you're giving somebody.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
Okay, is this something that like you use only in emergencies?
It's mostly used for like muggles who saw something by accident.
This is like, this is Men in Black.
It's the neuralizer from Men in Black.
Okay. I would say that's probably like in most contexts it's going to be used in a Ravenclaw fashion, so I'd probably give it to Ravenclaw.
I think it's Slytherin.
I mean, it really is, because I'm trying, it really is like
it's a lot of how do you justify this being used.
There is Gilderoy Lockhart, who uses it he interviews people who have done amazing things, finds out what they did, how they did it, and then obliviates them so they don't know that they did it, and he writes it down as a book, as if he did it.
And Kenneth Branagh is so good as him.
Yes,
when he portrays
also Lockhart is a Ravenclaw, so I don't know.
Yeah, it seems because it really feels like just the intent of how it's used, but like without context.
It is pretty, I guess, complex and, you know, brainy. So maybe that's a Ravenclaw-ish thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Slytherins are clever. Like Slytherins and Ravenclaws share that like knowledge connectivity.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think most of the houses have at least one thing in common with each other.
So I mean, I can see it going either which way.
Me too.
But I recognize, like, it's definitely not a Hufflepuff.
No.
Like, sometimes it is easiest to just be like, guys, we know for a fact it ain't no Hufflepuff. Protego.
That's a protection spell, right?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit briefly.
Yeah.
It's a deflection or protection shielding spell.
Yep.
I figure that this is probably a Hufflepuff, yeah?
Yeah, any of the defense ones are probably going to be, because like all of the other ones have all the other houses I feel like would be playing offense, except for maybe Ravenclaws who would know better, like the defense is a better long-term investment.
Great. Anything else to say?
Sounds good.
Okay. Petrificus totalis.
That one sounds like not even like real Latin. That's like one of the ones that sounds like you said that she just made up. She's like, crud. I just need something that sounds really smart sounding. Can you say it one more time?
Petrificus totalis.
Totalis, completely. Petrificus, I want to say something to do with like the face, like changing your face.
I would. No, I'm just gonna say no.
No.
I would say think of it more as totally petrified.
Oh, I see. Yeah, see, this is showing how little I paid attention in school.
It's straight up a body lock spell.
Yeah,
like your whole body locks up. You're stiff as a board. But unlike,
are you conscious?
Yes.
That's no.
Yeah. So your whole body locks up and you just topple over unless you're, standing up perfectly balanced. That's when like all your time playing Wii Fit or whatever on the balance board would really come into play.
Like, is this like handcuffs that if somebody left you that way, you could potentially just be stuck that way forever, or will it wear off?
I doubt it. I don't think it's that intense. I think it would wear off after a while, but I don't know.
Is this something that the kids are learning earlier, or is it like an advanced
Hermione
one?
uses it first year. I mean, I don't think most people know it first year, but Hermione does.
Oh, okay. That's amazing. Oh, God. That definitely feels Slytherin to me out of all the other ones. Because that's just straight up like, that seems torturous. That seems like I would go, like, you could literally go insane if somebody left you like that long enough.
Okay. I mean, I agree with you that it's probably a Slytherin.
What do you think?
Probably, I don't know, Ravenclaw or Slytherin.
Why Ravenclaw?
Because it also doesn't hurt you.
That's
just...
Yeah.
But neither does, like, okay, but I would say my argument would that be, like, technically, waterboarding doesn't hurt you. Like, you're not actually drowning when you're waterboarded, but it's the most intense, like, psychological pain that you can go through as a human being, apparently. So that's why I'm saying that. And also just the idea of, like...
Okay, so maybe stupefy is actually nicer than Petrificus totalis. Because at least you're not conscious of it.
I'm gonna be thinking about this later, just getting like anxiety about it, even though I know it's not real.
All right, let's move on to Imperio.
Imperio, that's when you take over another country.
All right.
Oh, what is it?
I mean, what else could you take over?
It just sounded like imperialism. Is that, or is this like a possession spell where you like possess somebody and like puppet them?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah, it is.
You turn them into your puppet.
Yeah, it's one of the 3 unforgivable curses.
Ooh, okay. So there are things that in the magic world that are illegal.
Yes.
And there's only 3 spells in the magic world that are illegal?
There are more that are illegal, but this one's like, these 3, there are 0 excuses. Like, there's no case where you're allowed to use this.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Because I was about to say, that sounds like it could turn sour really quickly if that were allowed.
Yeah, so this one...
Hufflepuff, right?
Yeah, without question. Yeah, no, it's a Slytherin. And really, like...
Are we going to say that all of the unforgivable curses?
I mean, let's just go to the other ones right now. We've got Crucio. What do you think Crucio is?
Crucio is...
Or the...
Cruciatus.
Cruciatus curse, yes.
Oh, God, that sounds like crucify. So is it like some sort of like crucifixion?
It's torture. Yeah.
Oh.
It's just your whole body is like racked in seizures of pain. at least as it's presented on screen and in the books as well, of just like, their body felt extreme pain all throughout it. No part of them felt good.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Slytherin.
And then what was the other one?
Avada Kedavra.
I love her. That's my favorite drag queen.
It comes from abracadabra. I mean, do you want to guess what it does first, or?
So if it's derived from abracadabra, it's probably, I don't know. What is it?
But abracadabra derives from, it translates into something like to force out, or like to expel, or something like total destroy, or
does
that.
This one just murder somebody?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the murder spell.
Yeah, abracadabra used to be used to get rid of a sickness, I think, or like not as intense as a plague, I think, but if you had some sort of sickness, you were supposed to use abracadabra and write it down, and then beneath it write it down again, but take off a letter and keep going down until you have this triangle, and then you like cut out the triangle and you keep it. So it all comes from like old witchcraft stuff.
Okay, well that makes sense that abracadabra and like magicians like the like your David Copperfield would use it as the reveal mechanism. Mm-hmm. That's the only time I've ever heard abracadabra.
Yeah, and it just became synonymous with magic spell for anything.
Yeah, also just like while we're quickly rattling off, I think what other Slytherins are, I think Morse Mordre also is on there because that's a revealing of the Dark Mark.
Yes, it's basically let's put the swastika in the sky.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's the snake and serpent or snake and skull.
Gotcha.
Symbol that they have. Let's all right. What about Vulnera
Senator?
Senator, yes.
Vulnera Senator.
That sounds like a character from a soap opera. Vulnera also sounds like an antidepressant, like an SSRI.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Ask your physician if Vulnera's right for you. Yeah. I have no idea. Vulnera Senator? What is that?
It's a healing spell for, to our knowledge, a very specific spell that cuts you up all over your body.
What?
So it has a 3-step process where the first step is slowing the flow of blood caused by the spell.
Don't like
the second is clearing the residue and healing the wounds, and then the third is knitting up the wounds. So it's like a 3-step healing spell.
Whoa. That's wild.
Just showing that there are like some more complicated spells in there.
No,
that one's obviously like an upper level one.
And that one feels like Ravenclaw. That's like just doctor work, healer work.
Yeah, I feel it's more doctor than anything. So I would say Ravenclaw. There's definitely Hufflepuff in there, but
yeah, like, either a Hufflepuff or a Ravenclaw. Although, like, I feel like it's a lot, like you're juggling a lot of stuff at once.
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
surgery.
Why,
I feel
that's
Ravenclaw.
why I would, yeah. And like, especially if you're like, do you get scars from wherever it was stitched up, or is it like good as new?
Probably not, but maybe.
And let's close out with Ducklifores.
That's when you get a bunch of ducks summoned all at once, and they attack somebody.
Almost.
A force of ducks.
Almost.
What is it?
It's when you're transformed into a duck.
Can it transform a person?
I believe so. If I'm...
That's silly.
It's a transfiguration spell that transforms an organism into a duck. It doesn't specify that it can't be a human.
Yeah, true.
So or even that it has to be alive. Could you potentially animate something into a duck?
A dead duck?
And it's also worth noting that 3rd years and above were able to cast the spell.
That's ridiculous. Sure I say ridiculous.
Because how old are you in the 3rd year?
13 or 14.
No. That's the worst time to be given the ability to do something like that. That being said, I'd say it's a Gryffindor. Because it's mean, but it's like also kind of dorky. Because like I feel like a Slytherin would make you something more humiliating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's goofy. There's the part of me that just feels that.
Yeah, it's just so prankstery. I'd give it a Gryffindor.
Yeah. Gryffindor.
Because I also feel like a Hufflepuff. I don't know. I think a Hufflepuff would just feel too bad to use that spell very often.
They theoretically could cast it on themselves, right?
I don't know.
Wait, but if you turn yourself into a duck, can you with your duck voice then like turn yourself back?
See, that I don't know.
Or is
I'm
it a
curious.
permanent spell?
Also, yeah, I don't know if it's a permanent spell. I don't know if there's a time limit on it or if it exerts any of the caster's energy. I don't know if you transform into a duck the same size of yourself or if you transform
100 duck-sized horses.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're a reed-sized duck versus
Which is still like smaller than the average person.
True, but still, if I saw a duck your size, I would definitely be very alarmed.
Oh God, that just makes me. That also stresses me out because like if you could potentially be stuck that way, that means like you're at a park and you see a pond full of ducks. Some of those might have been humans at some point.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's also the thing of like I have to assume if it's a transfiguration spell, your consciousness like remains intact.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I don't like that.
yeah, which could be
Yeah.
a real prison of a thing. But so like low key, this might be the way to just like take out all your haters, just turn them into ducks. And if they can't talk as ducks, like you've got it made.
Yeah, and in this universe, that also would beg the question that is whoever invented the spell, did they invent the concept of ducks? Could it be that there are no real ducks in the
There are
universe?
no real
And
ducks.
every duck that a muggle sees, it was something that was enchanted.
Yeah, it at one point was something
Bred
else.
from something.
That's what I would choose to believe, that ducks didn't exist until the spell was invented.
All
Oh
right,
my
hashtag
God.
ducks aren't real.
Hashtag ducks are magic.
And hashtag with that, thanks so much, Brizzy, for coming on to sort
Yeah, I learned
Harry
a lot
Potter
more
spells.
about Harry Potter for the Harry Potter podcast that I helped to co-host today.
Thank you.
Where can we find more of you, Brizzy?
Oh, mainly on the YouTubes, youtube.com/Brizzy.
Got it.
Also on Twitter, Brizzy Voices.
Great. You can follow me at Belated Media. You can follow Reed at That Dang Dingus, both on Twitter. If you'd like to leave us a review on Apple Podcast, we would appreciate that.
Yeah, and if
Imperio, do it.
and if we didn't cover any of the what you feel are vital spells, let us know. I always want to know if like we missed something.
Do you really want to know what Colavaria is sorted into?
You'll never
Tell
know.
us.
Goodbye.